We are live, and at long last, the one thing that we've been waiting for I don't know how long at this point is out. The ICC Cricket World Cup schedule. Yes, you heard that right. The schedule is finally out, and what we'll be doing is we'll be going over the matches, of course. And truth be told, we've gone over the schedule. It is shockingly not that different from the draft schedule that was announced initially. So, without any further ado, let's just get straight to it. Talk about what the interesting matches are. A couple of things worth noting though. Each of the semi-finals, which again reports had been leaked yesterday, will be having a reserve day. So that's an interesting thing. Although I don't know if you'd need a reserve day in November. Not sure about that.
At this point, after what happened at the IPL, the WTC final, I think you need a reserve.
Come what may.
Come what may. Yes.
Right. So without further ado, let's quickly go over the schedule, and we will now, you'll be seeing it full screen. So the tournament begins with, of course, a rematch of the 2019 final, really.
Yes.
England versus New Zealand. Pretty sure one of our colleagues will be very happy about that match. Hi, Sadhvi. And of course, India's first match, as you can see, 8th October, India versus Australia. That will be the first.
Chennai.
Yes, and again, that was part of the draft schedule. And if you go over India fixtures quickly, we'll just do that. So you have India Australia on October 8th. You have India Afghanistan on October 11th. The big match, of course, India Pakistan on a Sunday. It's October 15th. Thereafter, India will be playing Bangladesh on 19th October. And on 22nd October, India will be playing New Zealand. And if you go over the next ones, after that, India, October 29th, will be playing England, another big match in Lucknow of all places. Tuesday, 2nd November, thereafter, India will be playing qualifier 2. Then India will be having their penultimate match against South Africa, November 5th. Last match, November 11th, India will be taking on qualifier 1. So again, two teams not yet secured because, of course, as you guys know, the World Cup qualifiers still very much ongoing. But thereafter, semi-finals 15th November and 16th November, there is a reserve day for both of them. Final is on 19th November in Ahmedabad. So the opening and closing matches will both be held at the same venue, of course, Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad. So that is the schedule. That is, of course, India's schedule. But of course, so many group stage matches.
Yeah. But to look at, I think we should talk about what venues India is playing, because that's going to be an important part. When we think from the perspective of Indian fans as we are, we've got to think about what the squad will be like when it comes to the venues, or what the conditions will be like. So the first game will be at Chennai, the second at Delhi,
Interesting.
the third at Ahmedabad.
Of course, India, Pakistan and Ahmedabad, no surprise.
Pune, Dharamshala.
Yes. Thereafter, England will be Lucknow, Mumbai,
and Kolkata.
Yes, Kolkata get a nice match.
Kolkata and then Ahmedabad again.
Yes.
No, that's
Bangalore.
Yes, that's Bangalore.
So there's no way one venue would be getting two, unless of course India make it to the final or semis. Of course, we're expecting they do that. But yeah, so 9 different venues. These are the major venues, and of course another one which I think India will not be touching upon would probably be Mumbai. They don't have a match.
Kolkata
they do. South Africa.
Okay, they do.
I'm talking about the match, the one venue where they don't have one.
Mumbai, I think.
Yes, correct. So anyway, that is of course the major parts of the schedule. Now, of course, as we pointed out, both semi-finals do in fact have a reserve day. Although, again, as I said, I don't think you're getting rain in November. Could you? I can't predict anything at this point when it comes to the weather.
No.
I think we're just really bad when it comes to weather announcements, because of course, recently we've been having so much unseasonal rain, even in May. Of course, so good thing in a sense that they do have a reserve day. So that's the big talking points, of course, for the India matches. There will be, of course, plenty of other matches that I would personally be very excited about if you're talking about, say, and see, that's the thing with this World Cup schedule, is that every single team is playing each other at least once in the group stage. So you're guaranteed a lot of action. When I say a lot, I think it's fair to say a lot of action.
Yes.
So if we're going over, see, England, New Zealand, definitely one of those matches people will be excited about. Then you, of course, you'd be having, let's say, you have Australia, South Africa, another match that, truth be told, could get very, very feisty very, very soon. Thereafter, you would have England, South Africa, again, interesting match. Pakistan, Afghanistan, considering what happened in the Asia Cup of 2022, I'm expecting that to be a feisty encounter as well. Of course, India, England, Australia, when they play England, always an interesting match. So there's some actually, and that's the thing with this format. I think that you get these big matches and a lot of them.
Yeah, when it comes to me, I think I'd talk about the very first match, of course, that is England versus New Zealand. I think that's one to be looking out for. And then of course India, Australia, after what happened at the WTC final, I think India will be looking for a much stronger comeback at the World Cup, and it is time for India to kind of step into their A game, because it's been 10 years since we've won an ICC trophy. I think that's salt on everyone's wounds right now, because what happened, the last final ICC final that India played, of course the WTC final, it was not a very pleasant scenario to look at when it comes to the Indian fans. But hopefully at the World Cup, India will be much stronger. But there's still a few concerns when it comes to the squads, right?
Yeah, squads, let's not even go there. There's so many concerns when you're looking at most of India's current first choice players. A lot of them are currently out injured. You don't know, again, Bumrah is rumoured to be back for the Island Series, then Asia Cup. You don't have any clarity on when a KL Rahul or Shreyas Iyer will be available. So again, you're looking at problem areas. If you're talking about number 4 being a problem, it feels like 2019 again.
Yes.
So there are definitely problem areas, and especially when you look at India's record in, I think, even finals for that matter. The last final they played properly, don't count the WTC, and in ICC a proper tournament would have been 2017.
Right.
The Champions Trophy, and that didn't go well at all. That was a very unfortunately one-sided match. But if you're just joining us, and I'm sure plenty of people would be joining us at this point, let's quickly go over the schedule for India's side once again, and it's a pretty interesting one. Can we take it full screen? So 8th October, that is India's opening match. Of course, they'll be taking on Australia in Chennai. Thereafter, 3 days later, we'll be taking on Afghanistan in New Delhi. And the big match, the one everyone waits for every single time there's a multi-nation tournament, India-Pakistan in Ahmedabad. Just walk us through the rest of the matches as well.
On 19th October, India will be taking on Bangladesh at Pune. 22nd October, India will take on New Zealand at the very beautiful Dharamshala. On the 29th of October, India will contest against England at Lucknow.
I'm looking forward to that, because I think that's a real litmus test.
Absolutely.
The current white ball
Basball.
kings, not just baseball, in their case it's mock ball, because remember they have a different coach for the white ball setup.
Right.
But
and on the 2nd November, India will play a qualifier.
Yeah, this is the second one.
One of the qualifiers at Mumbai. On 5th November, India will play against South Africa at Kolkata. And on 11th November, they'll play another qualifier at Bangalore, which means the Chinnaswamy Stadium.
Yeah, so I think this is a good variety really when you're talking about venues, and of course the kind of conditions you could expect, because again, if you go to places like Chepauk, Lucknow, we don't really know how it's going to be because they're relaying everything. But of course, Delhi again, where you'll be playing Afghanistan, traditionally always been low. When you're looking at even Chennai, you're going to get spin-friendly conditions. So I think that's an interesting call really to have the match in, take place in Chennai there. Beyond that, of course, Ahmedabad playing host to India-Pakistan, not really a surprise.
Yes.
Although Pakistan did try a little hard to kind of, shift things out and ensure that it couldn't be held in Ahmedabad. It was rejected outright. Pune will be hosting, I think after a while you'll be seeing an international match in Pune.
I think after a good while Pune will be seeing a match happen at the
MCA Stadium. Nice. And they'll be getting Bangladesh, of course. Bangladesh might not be a big rival for India, but when you're talking about from the other side of things, they definitely always look forward to India games. It's always been really a spicy affair, especially since 2015, when that whole Rohit Sharma no ball thing happened. New Zealand, of course, another team that, truth be told, have always had the wood over India when it comes to ICC tournaments, especially knockouts. 2019, who can forget? Thereafter, 22nd October, Dharamshala, great place to be hosting what should be an absolutely wonderful match. England, this match, by the way, why I keep saying it's a litmus test, because I think by this point we'll know where it is that India stand with regards to qualification, because I think this is their 6th or 7th match, or not 7th, 6th, but England are the current kings in white ball cricket, undisputedly. They're the only team who have held both white ball trophies at tandem. Remember, the defending ODI World Cup champions have recently won and of course beat India really badly in the T20 World Cup semi. So this good litmus test. Who the qualifiers are, we don't know, but Mumbai will also be getting one match. Kolkata get the South Africa encounter, always a big one. And of course, Bengaluru get the last group stage match for India, which will be held in the Chinnaswamy.
And of course, to talk about the venues, a lot of BCCI has a lot of revamp will be happening at Delhi, at Mumbai. We've read reports that say that Mumbai, not just reports, it's been confirmed at this point that Mumbai will be getting brand new LED lights throughout. The floodlights will be changed completely. There will be reconstructions throughout the stadium and the facilities, the boxes, whatever. I think at Lucknow the pitches are being relaid, right? Firoz
It was needed.
It was needed, yeah. Firoz Shah Kotla will be going through a lot of changes when it comes to the infrastructure of the stadium.
Will they be removing those boards?
Hopefully. And I think Chinnaswamy doesn't need anything at this point because
Just give a little bit to the bowlers.
Just give a little bit to the bowlers. But of course, Chinnaswamy is one venue that we're all looking forward to because the Indian team at Chinnaswamy and in the IPL as well, we've seen a lot of batting performances that have lit up the stage really well, and we want that at the World Cup. But let's see how, it's going to be interesting because so far from the past 2 years, we've been seeing a lot of T20 matches happening around these venues. And now it's going to be very interesting to see how the conditions hold up, how the pitches hold up to a 50-over match.
Yeah, and actually, as you're right, there will be a lot of revamping taking place because, of course, ICC generally does that when it comes to ICC tournaments. They'll look over and see if there are stadiums that do need some improvement. More often than not, they will ensure that that improvement is done. And truth be told, I think Lucknow, was one we could all agree the pitch definitely needed some change because you saw some really dull IPL matches being played out there. Delhi is another stadium that not just in terms of pitch but even aesthetically does need a little bit of improvement. Please remove those boards. I doubt they will, but please just do something to make it look better. Delhi is such a nice city with a lot of cricketing history. It needs a better stadium than that. But again, let's see. As far as the venues go, I think they've picked a good spread across all zones. And the thing is, with a country like India, it's massive. There's cricket stadiums everywhere. It's always going to be a challenge to whittle down and say, okay, you need you need them here and it needs to be here as well, because if I'm not wrong, they've picked 10 venues, but it was supposed to be the original shortlist was of 12. So
was it 13?
Yes, it could have been more also, because they had a lot of places where they wanted to kind of hold these matches, but of course you'd have to be whittling them down to an extent. You can't be holding matches everywhere. Do you have any comments which we can take? Though let's have them up on the screen. Till then, we'll just quickly go over.
Yeah, we can go over Australia and England and what matches they play.
Exactly.
When we look at Australia, they'll be playing against, of course, India at Chennai. And then on 13th October, Friday the 13th, against South Africa at Lucknow. Then we have another match against Pakistan.
And Australia will, of course, before that take on qualifier 2. Thereafter, they'll be taking on Pakistan. So, pretty interesting thing, really. Then after qualifier 1, again, thereafter, of course, another big match, the Trans-Tasmanic rivalry, Australia-New Zealand in Dharamshala. Ooh, nice place to be hosting that match. Thereafter, Australia will be playing, let's see, Australia, am I missing them? Yes. England, Australia.
And then Afghanistan.
The Ashes rivalry. Then Afghanistan, and they'll be ending their group stage against Bangladesh.
At Pune.
Interesting. Yeah, it kind of makes sense because I think thereafter you'd be moving to the semi-finals to Mumbai, then Kolkata. It's interesting spread, really, even when you're looking at, because you have West covered, then you've got Kolkata. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Of course, England's fixtures, I always look forward to England fixtures for the simple reason that I'm really a big fan of how it is they play their white ball cricket. And for that matter, even their test cricket, dodgy declarations aside. First match, New Zealand, of course, that speaks for itself. And thereafter, they have some easier fixtures. They'll have Bangladesh, Afghanistan. Afghanistan, by the way, I still remember last year, the last time they played in 2019, there was a time when Owen Morgan went absolutely crazy. I think he hit that blistering 100, record number of sixes in an ODI. After that, they'll be playing South Africa, always also another very interesting game. Thereafter, England will be taking on qualifier. Then India, of course, always a big match. Australia, man, they actually have the fag end of that, it's very mixed because, see, you have one against the qualifier, then you're playing India and Australia back to back. Thereafter, you play the other qualifier, but your last match is against Pakistan, who always tend to cause some sort of weird upsets when it comes to, ICC tournaments. And also you should remember England versus Pakistan rematch of the T20 World Cup final.
Yes, and let's look at New Zealand. Of course, the first match is against England.
Yeah.
The second will be against qualifier.
One.
Against qualifier
One of the qualifiers.
One of the qualifiers, of course. The third
Bangladesh.
match will be against Bangladesh and then Afghanistan.
They also have an easy-ish start after England because again, no disrespect to Afghanistan and Bangladesh,
then India, of course. Who can forget
the pain of 2019
and
2021.
The giant wound that Martin Guptill left in Indian cricket fans' hearts.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thereafter, they will be playing Australia again.
Yes.
Their tough matches are later on because see, Australia, then South Africa, then Pakistan, and I think their last match would be against. I'm missing it. I think the last match is against qualifier 2.
Yes.
So that this part could be key because again, you remember 10 teams. 4 are making it. You're going to be seeing a lot of mathematical permutations and combinations doing the rounds because truth be told, that's just how it is. We've seen it happen. Although in this case, it's going to be a little different because it's just one group. There's not multiple groups, but still, net run rate will play a factor. So it's not just about who you beat, it's about by how much you beat them.
Is there a reason why there wasn't a group sort of
So
like,
I think
like there was in every other tournament? You know, you'd have a group A, group B.
So I think the reason for that is because the ICC kind of wanted to move away from having extra teams in the ODI World Cup because you were having, I remember in 2003, 7 and all, you had a lot of teams, you had 14 teams. But what was happening is there weren't too many lopsided encounters. So you kind of wanted to clamp down on that, so they moved back to the 10-team format. Once they moved back to the 10-team format, they said rather than have 2 groups, this format was originally started, I think it was played once, and you know for a fact that the formats of Cricket World Cups are very, very fluid, they change very often.
Yes.
So, but this one was tried out in 92 when I think when Pakistan had won the World Cup. This was tried out then, and they had this thing where it's just a single group, everyone plays each other once, and so they wanted to go back to it for 2 simple reasons. Of course, you want the big matches. Why deny, say, England, Australia by keeping them in separate groups?
Exactly. I think at this point, with this kind of structure, when you have it in an ICC tournament, you're going to see a lot of competition. And the competition will be much more truer at this point because you're not constrained to a group, because when we go back in the past, we see that all the strong teams are put in one team, whereas the other kind of sort of, I don't know, much.
It's an interesting mixture, let's say.
A much, much not stronger teams would be put in another group, and then it kind of became predictable who would make it to the qualifiers, and when 2 teams from 2 other groups would make it to the qualifiers, you'd kind of know, right, who has the upper hand. But at this point, everyone's playing everyone.
Exactly, and of course I think they may move from this format next year, because if rumors are to be believed, they'll be moving to a 12-team World Cup from 2027, which would mean you'd be going back to groups and then maybe a Super 6.
Yes.
So let's see, but this format is definitely one I find interesting in that regard, because as you say, every team plays the other at least once. Thereafter, you kind of end up, seeing and determining really who's the top side. Of course, don't always go by group stage standings, because with a knockout, with a proper knockout, what tends to happen is that you can get upsets. You remember, in 2019, India topped the group.
Yes.
New Zealand just about qualified by making it into 4th. But what happened in the semi-final? New Zealand actually ended up triumphing. So knockouts are always a weirder this thing than that. But I think you can be fairly happy, at least knowing now at long last that the schedule is out at last. Can we take some comments? There's some sort of a thing over there which is obscuring the view for the comments. Just check, we'll take some comments. Gautam Ramesh actually points out that saying in New Zealand, in Dharamshala, you're facing Bolt, Henry, etc. Very bad memories from 2019 to, facing them in swinging conditions. Agree with you, Gautam, but that's the beauty of this World Cup. You will, in fact, be facing all of the teams. Sandeep Bhatnagar, to answer your question, the semis will be taking place. First one is in Mumbai. Second one is Kolkata. And then the final in Ahmedabad. That is, answering your question. Akash Bhardwaj says, I really wanted swinging condition game because the semi may be in Kolkata or Mumbai. Yes, correct. To answer your question, Rimthbi, yes, of course DRS will be there. That goes without saying.
Okay. Nishant Vesh.
No, don't read that.
Akash, we've gone
same
through
condition.
that.
Just scroll down slightly.
I think we're getting a repeat of.
We do get a lot of repeats.
Yes.
Akash Bhardwaj says, no game in Ranchi or Cuttack. Are you surprised with rain in Chennai? See, Ranchi, Cuttack would have always been long shots.
Yes, I don't think they were when the India was revealed that India would be hosting the World Cup. A few shortlisted venues were revealed, that you know, a shortlisted list, and then another shortlist would be made out of that, and Ranchi was nowhere, Ranchi or Cuttack was nowhere in that list. So it was sort of not surprising when it comes to whether or not there will be a game in Ranchi or Cuttack. I think these venues have been hosting international games for a very long time, and they kind of have the infrastructure and the kind of state associations to organize big events and international events, whereas Ranchi, I think at this point needs a lot of development to get to that stage.
Yeah, you're not getting you know, that sort of let's say match being played in Ranchi or Cuttack. No, that was never going to happen. Even if they were on the, let's say, you know, shortlist, I don't think that would have actually taken place. So no, not much of a surprise there in that regard. And with rain in Chennai, I mean, see, I think maybe that's why they have reserved days.
Yes.
I think Chennai would have always been one of those venues that was going to get a match regardless.
But they only have reserved days for the semi-final. So if you know, any rain happens in Chennai, the game will probably get washed off and the points will be equal.
Which is, I think, something which no team likes.
No one looks forward to that.
Yeah, because it just makes things complicated. You saw this year with the IPL also. You had both CSK and Lucknow have that 1 point, which could have either made them or broken them. But yeah, so I think Chennai, no surprises there that they're getting the match. Of course, you would have to be playing at Jaipur. So that is it from us. That's the breaking news update. The schedule is at long last, you can say.
Yes. Let us know in the comments if you're excited, you know, for the schedule and what matches you're looking forward to and what venues you want to see, especially with the Pune coming in now and Dharamshala, of course. We're all looking forward to Dharamshala. So let us know in the comments what matches you're looking forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. And please stay tuned. We'll be having a longer discussion on this later on. This was a breaking news update. We'll be joining you guys live afterwards as well. So stay tuned. Plenty more coming your way on Sports Day. Right now, though, from Gargi and me, it is goodbye.